Damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
What do YouTube? B Kelly back again with another banger video, and in today's video, y'all, I'm going to be talking about what happened to the top 10 quarterbacks from the 2015 recruiting class. And before we start off this video, remember to smash that like button as it does help the channel grow and I highly appreciate it. Now let's get on into the video. Coming in at number 10 is Drew Lock. Now in the 2015 class, Drew Lock ranked as the 98th best player in the nation and a 4-star recruit, and he had offers from schools such as Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Louisville. He would end up going to Missouri. Drew Lock at Mizzou would be an immediate impact player just as a true freshman, as he was the one primarily taking starting reps at Mizzou as a freshman in 2015. And he was the main quarterback there his entire career, and he had a trend where he progressively got better, even though his best season was as a junior, where he threw for 3,964 yards, 44 touchdowns, and only 13 interceptions. In 4 seasons played at Mizzou, he completed 57% of his passes, threw for 12,193 yards, 99 touchdowns, and only 39 interceptions. Drew Lock in the 2020 NFL Draft was seen as one of the top quarterbacks in that draft, and he was potentially going to be a late first-round pick to second-round pick. In that draft, he was in fact a second-round pick, taken with a 42nd overall pick by the Denver Broncos. As a rookie in 2019, Drew Lock only played in 5 games, and he started in those 5 games as he was hurt most of the season, but he went 4-1 as a starter, completed 64% of his passes, threw for 1,020 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, and was looking very impressive, and a lot of people were expecting a big season in year 2. But in this past 2020 season, he had a big sophomore slump. In 13 games played, he went 4-9 as a starting quarterback, completing 57% of his passes, thrown for 2,933 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. His future as QB1 at the Denver Broncos is in some serious doubt right now, and he has to have a really good season, or just at least a good season, to keep his job for the future, because there's a lot of question marks around him and his game in Denver, even though I personally think 2020, you know, he did struggle, but the Denver Broncos were very banged up as well. At number 9 is Ricky Town. Now, Ricky Town in the 2015 class was a 4-star recruit and the 79th best player in his class, and he held offers from schools such as USC, Alabama, Arizona State, Florida State, and Georgia, just to name a few, and he would end up going to USC. Ricky Towns would never actually play a game for USC, and just after the spring, he would end up transferring to Arkansas for the fall of 2015, where he redshirted as a true freshman. Then as a redshirt freshman in 2016 at Arkansas, he did not play in a single game. After his redshirt freshman season, he would transfer yet again, but this time he would go to Ventura College at the JUCO level. Then after that, he would go to Pitt, and at Pitt, he only was there for 1 season, as he was the backup quarterback in 2018, where he completed 1 pass for a pass completion that is perfect for 100% for 15 yards. And that's really about it about his career. He played at 4 different schools, was primarily a backup quarterback, and that's really about it. Coming in at number 8 for quarterbacks in that class is Jake Browning. Now, Jake Browning in this class ranked as a 4-star recruit, the 73rd best player in the nation, and he would end up going to Washington. Jake Browning, just like Drew Lock, was an immediate impact freshman from the start, as he was the main quarterback for Washington all 4 years of his career, and he had a really good career as Washington's quarterback, as in 4 seasons he completed 65% of his passes, threw for 12,296 yards, 94 touchdowns, and only 34 interceptions. He was also the 2016 Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, and he even led Washington to a playoff game once. Despite being a pretty reliable quarterback, and a good one at that for Washington, he would go undrafted in the 2019 NFL Draft, where he was then picked up by the Minnesota Vikings. Now, since he got into the league in 2019, he's been with the Vikings for 2019 and 2020, but he was on the practice squad for both. He is currently facing a lot of adversity going into the 2021 season, as he's battling for a spot on the Vikings roster with a very limited spots for the quarterback, since they now have Kirk Cousins and Kellen Mond. He's definitely going to have to fight for that spot with a few other quarterbacks to make that roster. Now at number 7 is quarterback Brady White. Now, in this class, he ranked as a 4-star recruit and the 68th best player in the class, and he would commit to Arizona State over schools such as Arizona, Cal, Colorado State, and Illinois. Brady White would spend 2 seasons at Arizona State as a backup quarterback before ultimately transferring to Memphis to try to be a starting quarterback. He was Memphis' starting quarterback from 2018 to 2020 for 3 total seasons, and in those 3 seasons, he had 62% of his passes completed, threw for 10,949 yards, 92 touchdowns, and only 31 interceptions. He really helped change the brand of football that Memphis had from 2018 to 2020, as they were starting to become a team that was winning a lot and were becoming a team that was a top team in the American Conference. And not to mention, in 2019, he led them to the Cotton Bowl, which is a New Year's Six Bowl, which is a game that Memphis really never gets to hardly at all. I mean, it's a big deal to get Memphis to the New Year's Six Bowl, as it's really something that never happens. Brady White went undrafted in the 2021 NFL Draft and is currently playing in the Spring League. Now at number 6, we have Deondre Francois, who ranked as a 4-star recruit and the 66th best player in the nation. He chose to go to Florida State over schools such as Florida, Auburn, Cincinnati, and Clemson. Deondre Francois would spend a total of 4 seasons at Florida State, including a redshirt season in 2015 as a true freshman. In 2016, he was the starting quarterback for the Seminoles, and he played in 13 games, completing 59% of his passes, throwing for 3,350 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He also rushed for 5 touchdowns on the ground as well, and he definitely showed a lot of promise. Unfortunately, in 2017, in the first game of the season, he would suffer an injury that would make him miss the rest of the season. In 2017, he would only complete 58% of his passes, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, but you have to understand it was only 1 game. In 2018, in his final season at Florida State, he would play in 11 games. He would not look the same after his injury, as he completed 57% of his passes for 2,731 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He was dismissed off the team after this season, and then he would transfer to Hampton. In his lone season at Hampton in 2019, he would play in 12 games, where he completed 57% of his passes, threw for 2,522 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. He would go undrafted in the 2020 NFL Draft and would not be signed by a team, and he has last played in 2021 in the fan-controlled football league. Coming in at number 5, we have Brandon Wimbush, who ranked as a 4-star recruit and the number 46 best player in the nation, and he would choose Notre Dame over schools such as Penn State, Stanford, Alabama, and Boston College, just to name a few. Brandon Wimbush would be at Notre Dame for a total of 4 seasons, including a redshirt season as a sophomore in 2016. He was the starting quarterback in 2017, as he started in 12 games, completing 50% of his passes, throwing for 1,870 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He also rushed for 804 yards and 14 touchdowns that season as well. In 2018, with Notre Dame, as a redshirt junior, he was the starter in the beginning, but would eventually be replaced by Ian Book after struggling. In that season, he threw for 719 yards, completing 53% of his passes, 4 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. After that season, he would transfer to UCF, where in 6 games played, he only started in 1 of them, and he completed 54% of his passes, threw for 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. In 2020, he went undrafted and was not signed by an NFL team. Coming up next at number 4, we have Jarrett Stidham. Now, in this class, he ranked as a 4-star recruit and the 38th best player in this class, and he would choose the Baylor Bears over schools such as Texas Tech, Auburn, Alabama, and Arizona State. Jarrett Stidham would only be at Baylor for 1 season in his true freshman season, where he played in 10 games, completing 69% of his passes, throwing for 1,265 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He would transfer from the team to go to the junior college level, not to play football, just to take an academic year in redshirt, because of the drama that was going on at Baylor, especially at their football team. But he would transfer to Auburn after his 1 year at the JUCO level, just as a regular student, and he was the starting quarterback immediately. In 2017, he had a big season where he completed 66% of his passes, throwing for 3,158 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. In 2018, he really didn't improve a lot, but he didn't really regress a lot either, as in that season, he completed 61% of his passes, threw for 2,794 yards, threw for 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He would forgo his final year of eligibility at Auburn and declare his name for the 2019 NFL Draft, where he was taken in the 4th round by the New England Patriots. Jarrett Stidham has played in the NFL for 2 years so far, both with the New England Patriots as their backup quarterback. When he has been on the field, he really has not had the most success, however. In his career, he's only completed 50% of his passes, has thrown 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Now it's time to talk about the top 3 quarterbacks in this class, and coming in at number 3 is Kyler Murray. Now in this class, Kyler Murray was a 5-star recruit and ranked as the 34th best player in the nation. He chose Texas A&M over schools such as Texas, Oregon, OU, and Arkansas, just to name a few of his notable offers. Kyler Murray would spend 1 season at Texas A&M as a true freshman in 2015, where he played in 8 games, completed 60% of his passes, threw for 686 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. On the ground, he rushed for 335 yards and 1 touchdown. After this season, however, he would transfer to OU, where he'd have to sit out the 2016 season. In 2017, he was the 2nd-string quarterback for Oklahoma behind Baker Mayfield, so he really did not see the field the most, but he was used in certain packages sometimes. In 2018, however, he was the starting quarterback for OU from the jump, and he had a monster season where in 14 games played, he completed 69% of his passes, threw for 4,361 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Not to mention, Kyler Murray rushed for 1,001 yards and 12 touchdowns. The awards he won in his final year at OU was AP Player of the Year Award, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, Davey O'Brien Award, Heisman Trophy, and the 2018 Manning Award. He would forgo his final year of eligibility at OU and declare his name for the 2019 NFL Draft, where he was taken by the Arizona Cardinals with the 1st overall pick in the 1st round. Kyler Murray has been the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals pretty much since he walked into the organization in 2019, and he's had 2 very good seasons. So far in the 32 games he's played in his career, he poses a 13-18-1 record, completing 66% of his passes, throwing for 7,693 yards, 46 touchdowns, and only 24 interceptions. On the ground in his NFL career, Kyler Murray has rushed for 1,363 yards and 15 touchdowns. He has made 1 Pro Bowl and was the 2019 AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. Coming in at the number 2 spot is Blake Barnett, who ranked as a 5-star recruit and the number 22 player in the nation, and he would end up going to Alabama. Blake Barnett at Alabama would redshirt as a true freshman, then in 2016 he would play in 3 games, where he completed 58% of his passes, threw for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. After that season, however, he would then transfer to Arizona State. Barnett would not be able to win the job at Arizona State and would only play there for 1 season, where he played in 2 games, attempting 5 passes, completing 3 of them for 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. He would then take his talents to South Florida, where in the 2018 season, he was finally a starting quarterback. In 11 games played, he completed 61% of his passes, threw for 2,705 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. South Florida that season went 7-6. In the 2019 season, his final year of college eligibility, he was limited to 4 games only as he faced injury issues. He completed 52% of his passes this season, throwing for 434 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He was not picked up or signed by an NFL team in the 2020 NFL Draft and has not really played any football in a league since then. Coming in as the number 1 quarterback in the 2015 recruiting class is Josh Rosen. He ranked as a 5-star recruit and the number 11 player in the nation, and he would end up going to UCLA. Josh Rosen at UCLA was a 3-year starter while he was there from 2015 to 2017. In his career there, he completed 61% of his passes, threw for 9,340 yards, 59 touchdowns, and only 26 interceptions. He would forgo his final year of eligibility at UCLA and declare his name for the 2018 NFL Draft, where he was seen as a top quarterback in that draft and he was taken with the 10th overall pick in the first round by the Arizona Cardinals. Josh Rosen, as a rookie in 2018 for the Cardinals, started in 13 games, going 3-10 as a starting quarterback, completing 55% of his passes thrown for 2,278 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. He struggled quite a bit, but he really did not have the best protection protecting him at all. But with a new coaching staff coming in, he was traded to the Dolphins after they drafted Kyler Murray. In the 2019 season, he would end up playing for the Dolphins, where in that season, he played in 6 games, starting in 3 of them, going 0-3 as a starting quarterback. And yeah, he struggled quite a bit and was not able to take the job from Fitzmagic. And also in this season, 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions. Definitely not the best start for Rosen in his NFL career, as after this season going into 2020, he was actually released after not being able to find a trade partner. After being released by the Dolphins, he was signed to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice squad for a little bit before signing with the 49ers at the end of the season and being on their active roster for the final couple games of the season. He is currently with the 49ers right now as of this video. Well guys, now that you have made it to the end of the video, remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly out.